Every year, millions of people promise themselves change, a new personality, a better body, a calmer mind, a more disciplined life. We write goals, set resolutions, follow routines, and repeat the same silent belief: I am not enough as I am. And every year, most of these promises fail. Not because people lack willpower, but because the very idea of changing yourself is built on a misunderstanding of how the mind works. Long before modern self-help culture existed, the Buddha recognized this mistake. He did not teach self-improvement, he taught self-understanding, and that difference changes everything. The desire to change yourself often begins with dissatisfaction. Something feels wrong. You are too anxious, too lazy, too angry, too unfocused, too emotional. So the mind creates an image of a better future version of you. This future self becomes the standard. The present self becomes the problem. Buddhism does not call this motivation, it calls it suffering. Because improvement based on rejection carries hidden violence. You are trying to escape who you are by becoming someone else. Every failure becomes self-criticism. Every setback confirms the belief that something is broken. The Buddha saw that suffering does not come from imperfection, it comes from resistance to what is. At the heart of the urge to change yourself is an assumption that there is a solid, permanent self that can be reshaped like an object. Buddhism challenges this assumption directly. Through meditation and observation, the Buddha discovered that what we call self is not a fixed entity. It is a process, sensations, thoughts, emotions, habits, constantly arising and passing away. If there is no permanent self, then who exactly are you trying to change? When you try to force change, you are fighting a process as if it were a thing. This struggle creates tension, frustration, and disappointment. The Buddha did not say, become a better self. He said, see clearly what is happening. Modern self-change relies heavily on force, discipline, control, pressure, and punishment. I must stop thinking this way. I must not feel this emotion. I must become more productive. But Buddhism observes a simple psychological truth. Whatever you fight inside yourself grows stronger. When anger is suppressed, it returns. When fear is denied, it hides. When desire is shamed, it becomes obsessive. Meditation reveals this directly. When you try to force the mind to be calm, it rebels. When you allow thoughts to arise without judgment, they soften naturally. The Buddha understood that change forced from resistance is unstable. Change that arises from understanding is permanent. Buddhism does not reject transformation, it rejects blind transformation. The Buddha taught that awareness must come before change. You cannot wisely alter what you do not deeply understand. Meditation trains this awareness. Sitting quietly, you observe the mind without interference. You see how thoughts arise on their own. You watch emotions form due to conditions. You notice how craving creates restlessness and how letting go creates ease. This observation is not passive, it is intelligent. When the mind sees clearly how suffering is created, it naturally stops repeating the same patterns. No force is required. This is why Buddhism emphasizes insight, not motivation. Self-improvement is obsessed with becoming. Become calmer, become richer, become wiser, become spiritual. The Buddha warned against this endless project of becoming. He called it bhava, the craving to be something else. Becoming is never satisfied. As soon as one goal is reached, another appears. The mind remains restless, always chasing a future state. Meditation exposes the exhaustion of becoming. When you sit still, you realize that peace does not come from becoming someone else. It comes from stopping the fight with who you are. The Buddha taught that freedom is found not in becoming perfect, but in ending the struggle to become. One of the Buddha's core insights was impermanence. Everything changes. Thoughts change, emotions change, bodies change, circumstances change. Trying to permanently fix yourself in a world defined by change is like trying to freeze a river. Meditation allows impermanence to be experienced directly. A sensation arises and fades. A mood comes and goes. Even deeply rooted habits weaken when observed over time. When impermanence is understood, the obsession with control relaxes. Instead of demanding consistency, the mind learns adaptability. The Buddha knew that peace does not come from controlling life. It comes from understanding its changing nature. Most attempts at self-change rely on judgment. This part of me is bad. This feeling shouldn't exist. I must eliminate this habit. But judgment divides the mind against itself. One part becomes the controller, the other the enemy. Buddhism teaches compassion toward experience, not approval of harmful actions, but understanding of their causes. When anger is understood, it softens. When fear is allowed, it loosens. When desire is seen clearly, it loses its grip. Meditation works not because it fixes the mind, but because it stops attacking it. The Buddha understood that a mind at war with itself cannot be free. Much suffering comes from identity-based change. I am an angry person. I am an anxious person. I am lazy. These labels solidify temporary states into permanent identities. Then the mind tries to change the identity rather than understand the condition. Meditation dissolves identity by revealing experience moment by moment. You are not anger. You are the awareness of anger. You are not anxiety. You are the noticing of anxiety. When identity loosens, change becomes natural. There is nothing to fix, only patterns to observe. This is why Buddhism avoids defining people by traits. Everything is conditional. Everything can change, but not through force. Self-help culture focuses on adding new habits, new routines, new beliefs. Buddhism focuses on subtracting. Less clinging, less resistance, less identification, less craving. Meditation removes ignorance, not flaws. When ignorance fades, wisdom appears naturally. This is why the Buddha's path is often described as a path of letting go, not building up. You do not become peaceful. You stop feeding what disturbs peace. Acceptance in Buddhism is often misunderstood as giving up. It is not resignation, it is clarity. Acceptance means seeing what is without distortion. It means acknowledging thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without denial or exaggeration. Paradoxically, acceptance is what allows change to happen. When you stop fighting yourself, energy is no longer wasted on inner conflict. Insight deepens. Patterns reveal themselves. The Buddha taught that suffering ends not when you become someone else, but when you stop rejecting who you are. Meditation is not about becoming better. It is about becoming aware. There is no ideal meditator to achieve. There is only this moment, this breath, this experience. When meditation is used to fix the self, it fails. When it is used to understand the self, it transforms everything. The Buddha warned against turning meditation into another ego project. Anything that strengthens identity strengthens suffering. True meditation weakens the need to be different. When the need to constantly change yourself drops away, life becomes lighter. Mistakes become teachers, not evidence of failure. Emotions become signals, not enemies. Growth becomes organic, not forced. This does not mean stagnation. It means intelligent movement. The Buddha's path is not about staying the same. It is about changing without violence. The Buddha knew that the problem was never that humans are flawed. The problem is that humans are at war with themselves. Trying to change yourself from rejection only deepens that war. Understanding yourself ends it. When awareness replaces force, change happens naturally. When compassion replaces judgment, healing begins. When seeing replaces striving, freedom appears. That is why changing yourself doesn't work, and why the Buddha never asked you to. He asked you to see, and in that seeing, everything changes without effort. So, the Buddha did not teach people how to become better versions of themselves. He taught them how to stop fighting themselves. This single insight explains why changing yourself so often fails, and why the struggle to improve can quietly become a source of suffering. Most attempts at self-change begin with rejection. We decide that something about us is wrong, our thoughts, our emotions, our habits, and we try to replace the present self with an imagined future one. But this effort creates division inside the mind. One part judges, another resists. One part demands control, another pushes back. The Buddha recognized this inner conflict as the very suffering people were trying to escape. From a Buddhist perspective, the problem is not that we need improvement. The problem is that we misunderstand ourselves. We assume there is a fixed self that can be reshaped through force, when in reality the mind is a changing process influenced by conditions. Thoughts arise and pass, emotions shift, identities dissolve and reform. Trying to permanently fix what is always changing leads only to frustration. This is why the Buddha emphasized awareness rather than effort. Through meditation, we begin to observe experience without interference. We notice how craving tightens the mind, how resistance creates tension, and how letting go brings relief. No command is issued. No self is attacked. Understanding does the work quietly. When awareness replaces force, change happens naturally. Harmful patterns fade because they are clearly seen. Compassion grows because judgment weakens. The mind no longer needs to be pushed toward peace. It settles on its own when struggle ends. The modern world encourages endless becoming. Become more successful, more disciplined, more spiritual. But the Buddha warned that this craving to become something else keeps the mind restless. Peace cannot be reached by running toward a future version of yourself. It is found by fully meeting this moment as it is. This does not mean growth stops. It means growth becomes gentle. Instead of changing yourself out of self-hatred, you evolve through understanding. Instead of fixing, you learn. Instead of controlling, you see clearly. The Buddha knew that freedom does not come from perfecting the self, but from understanding the nature of experience. When the illusion of a solid, defective self dissolves, the need to change yourself dissolves with it. What remains is clarity, compassion, and a quiet sense of ease. That is why changing yourself doesn't work. Because peace is not achieved by becoming someone else. It appears when the struggle to become finally ends. And the Buddha knew this all along. He knew that when seeing replaces striving, peace is no longer a goal. It becomes the ground on which life is lived. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more content like this.